Warning and disclaimer for all audiences. Anime Circuit is an audio podcast containing mature language, possible spoilers, and opinions that are not your own. Enjoy.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Anime Circuit, your weekly anime podcast, where I, one of your very gracious hosts, Drake Chandler, and my other very, very gracious, beautiful, lovely host, he is the best, he is...
Will, and you're just getting back at me for yelling at you when we tried this a minute ago.
we tried recording this intro about 7 times.
Yeah, and one time he just said, and that guy.
And that guy.
Oh.
I said you the guy. You said you were the other guy.
No, you called me that other host.
The other host.
I felt offended by that.
He was very offended. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
Now you're still only Scottish.
Anyways, we are here. Our podcast is here.
We are podcast. Yes, we are.
We're here.
This should be the entire podcast. Should be calling you out on your mistakes.
5 select shows of this season.
On a weekly basis.
On a weekly basis.
Well, 5 episode reviews.
5 episodes. 5 different shows. 1 episode per week on a weekly basis.
Yes.
That
was very redundant.
I made this schedule based on the release date of most of these anime. And
I just now noticed that these are in order of air dates.
Yes, they are.
Along the bottom.
Yeah, they're the release order of air dates. Now, I specifically bring this up because I thought about adding Parasite to this list, but that airs so late.
That's Wednesday.
Yeah, but that airs so late into the season, I didn't want to be reviewing like episode 1 of that and like episode 2 of everything else.
Yeah, it'd be like basically, we were reviewing episode 1 of WIXOSS the day episode 2 comes out. That's how it ended up being for us.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be put behind on anything, so I kind of did everything that aired within 1 week.
Yeah.
So we have Selector Spread, quote unquote.
That is in fact the sequel.
Yes. I don't know how you're supposed to be able to tell a fucking title like that, but it's not Selector Infected.
There's
it's
Infected
season 2.
and there's Spread.
Those
are the differences.
It's just Infected, Selector Spread WIXOSS. I don't know what the fuck it means. I didn't even know what Infected meant either last season, but it's a thing.
Yeah, what did it even mean last season? It's like, what about this has even revolved around the word infected? Show titles are weird.
We're also bringing you Log Horizon
Season 2.
Anime.
Where Dean has taken the reins.
Yes, because we all were.
Yay, Studio Dean.
Like, you know.
Yeah, Studio Dean would take over.
Yeah, you're right. Like Satellite, who cares about them?
Yeah, who cares about Satellite's great character designs?
Great character designs and, for the most part, even kind of better animation in some regards. And then even Satellite doesn't even animate that well. It goes to Satellite.
And then we'll be doing... with your tirade? And then we'll be doing Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works. The remake and not the crappy 2016 version.
No, this is the remake of the crappy 2010.
Well, this is the remake. Shut up. You know what I meant.
I'm just giving the facts to our lovely audience, our lovely listeners. Interesting thing though. I want to bring this up. Is I called it was gonna be
archers.
I called that it was gonna be Unlimited Blade Works a long time ago because I read this interview with Gen Urobuchi some time ago, and I have the source somewhere like linked in like my bookmarks in my fucking browser. But it was an interview with Gen Urobuchi, and they asked if he had any information or if he had any ties to the new Fate Stay Night anime. And he said no, but he assumed.
Yeah, he's not writing this one.
But yeah, he's not. It's Kinoko Nasu, and I consider that very fair. Gen Urobuchi wrote Fate Zero the novels, and he got to write his own anime adaptation, and Nasu wrote the visual novel.
I didn't know Urobuchi wrote the novels.
Yes, he did.
Zero.
Yeah. And so Nasu similarly gets the same
You can
treatment.
tell.
Yeah.
You can tell Urabuchi wrote the novels for Zero.
But Urabuchi claimed that he thought that the new Fate Stay Night anime was going to be Unlimited Blade Works, and while everyone was saying Heaven's Feel for like over a year, I was like, no, Unlimited Blade Works. I'm going with the guy who got the inside information, and it fucking happened.
But aren't they making a Heaven's Feel movie later?
Yeah, but they are making the Heaven's Feel movie later.
Yeah, the adaptation is Blade Works, and the movie later. Isn't that like in like 2 years? They're making Heaven's Feel.
I don't know. I just know that Fate Stay Night is going to be split core. So I assume after 6 months from now, they're probably going to announce some kind of release date for the Heaven's Feel movie.
Hey, at least it's not Kizu. Oh, Kizu Monogatari. When will you come? When?
The world will never know.
We will never see that movie. But then we'll also be doing World Trigger.
Yep.
Which really should have been animated by Trigger.
You're fine.
I'm sticking by that.
Yeah.
Drake, I know you don't like Trigger, but shut up.
Oh, I didn't say I don't like Trigger. I'm just saying you have puns. No, World Trigger is I selected this show. I put my vote in for this show because I am a reader of the manga, and so I would love to do a comparison of this, and also just as a fan of World Trigger in general, I just want to see how the anime adaptation goes and be able to talk about it with you guys.
And then you take the next one.
Yep, and then after that is Akatsuki no Yona, the shoujo anime that I figured would be good because it mixes up the list a little bit, and also it looks, at least from the PV, you know, it looked like it was going to develop a strong female protagonist. I know there was a lot of...
Which is very much needed.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy going into this show when I was talking to people on the Hummingbird forums, you know. And the only person that ever agreed with me at any point was Lancelot. Bless his soul.
Lancelot.
Was, you know, because everyone was saying,
on the SAO threads too much to care.
Reverse harem, girl surrounded by dudes, and I'm just like, guys, but like, think about the time period. This is like really, really, really old Korea, right? Like, this is probably like a men's supremacy.
I think it's China.
I think I read somewhere it was Korea. But this is still a men's supremacy era, right? And so I only assume that she's surrounded by men because it's supposed to be within her character arc to learn to keep up with them.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. I want to see a strong.
According to the opening, it's like also like some form of magical fantasy because there's a dude with like a dragon hand.
Yeah.
You got that in the
opening.
opening.
There's the guy that wears the mask too.
Yeah, it's like. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, but we'll get to our thoughts on the show later. And.
But I think we mentioned that we do.
Yeah, we did not mention adding to our 5 weekly shows.
We will be reviewing a singular show, incomplete. I don't know the word for that, but we're doing one show a week.
Yes,
that is a finished show.
One complete show per week, and we are starting with of Will's,
Fate Zero.
Yes, of Will's decision, Fate Zero, because Will had never seen Fate Zero. I agreed with it because I would like to have this on the podcast. You know, someone who's experienced with Fate Zero, saw it a long time ago, someone who's new.
And a guy who finished it less than 24 hours ago.
Precisely. And watching him, someone less informed on the Nasuverse, coming from Fate Zero to Fate Stay Night, unlike me, who is incredibly well
I did watch
informed.
the first 4 episodes of Dean's. We gotta get that out of the way. I watched the first 4 episodes of Dean's before I watched Fate Zero. So I wanted to get to people who would die if they are killed, but that was episode 23 of 24. I'm like, yeah, no.
Wasn't
I'm just
happening.
gonna watch Zero. Yeah. I'm gonna go back and watch it at some point this season, but so I can like compare it accurately to Unlimited Blade Works, but I didn't have time this week to do it.
Alright, so you want to start with Fate Zero then?
Sure.
Yeah.
I got a lot to say.
Yeah, get the big major show out of the way. So why don't you start with telling people what you thought you were getting into with this show?
I got exactly what it says on the tin. A very dialogue-intensive series with some amazingly animated action. And that's what I got in, like, different seasons. Like, the first season, I gave both seasons a 9 out of 10. The first season got a point off because it was too slow, not enough happening in it. It explained every single plot point in detail, but, like, nothing happened. There weren't enough plot points to explain in detail. And season 2 blasted through plot points. I'm like, why didn't you take time to go through and explain each plot point in detail?
You know what I say?
To do that.
You know what I say?
What?
Alright. Something that could have made Fate Zero better was because episode 10 was filler. And
oh yeah, take that out and replace.
Yeah.
What?
No, I agree with you with what you're about to say, but funny enough, some of my friends don't even know that episode exists because last time I watched this show, I watched it with two of my friends, right?
You skipped it?
And I skipped it, and they didn't realize a thing. Like when I just scrolled over it, like in my fucking files.
Wow.
And yes, I have this show downloaded. Don't give me any shit about it. I have a Crunchyroll account, and I have the Blu-rays on my shelf, right? And Netflix. I can watch it in any way, shape, or form I want. I can download it for free. I've already paid for it like 3 times.
Calm down, Drake. Calm down. But if they had taken that one random episode of Rin running around in the city, which served no purpose other than showing us that Caster's master was even crazier than we thought. If they just used that episode to explain what happened in the final 2 episodes, I'd have been much happier with the series.
Yeah, Rin finding her friend actually did not happen in the novels.
But it didn't?
No, it did not.
You're saying the friend died in the novels?
The friend died in the novels.
Wow. Wait. Urabuchi, like, in his adaptation, saved someone from dying?
Yes, he did.
He saved a little girl from dying?
Yeah.
Did you feel bad after writing Madoka?
His novels at all. Like, I don't... Even there, it's not necessary.
Wait, Drake. She was saying he felt bad about after Madoka? He wanted to make a character live?
I don't know.
That's my headcanon. He let her live because he felt bad about writing Madoka. But, what else should we discuss about Fate Zero, other than broad terms?
Well, you said, like, it went by really slow, right? And honestly,
the first season crawled past.
But that's precisely what I loved about it. The first episode being such an exposition.
45 minutes.
It's being a 45-minute exposition dump was not something I minded because I understood in a way that we needed to learn all this information, and it didn't just want to throw us straight into the Grail War, right? Like
yes, that's good that it didn't throw us in there. I would have been horribly confused.
Yeah. I don't mind the first episode. Like, really, the only thing I think maybe the show could have handled better when it came to that exposition is maybe saving, like Kirei's and Tokiomi's team up as maybe something more of a twist later in a couple episodes, rather than.
No, I felt fine with that being there.
I'm just
really, if anything, I would have preferred it just said, "All right, this guy's Tokiomi, this guy's Kirei." Like as I'm watching the season, I'm like, "All right, who is who in this?" Like I see.
Some of this information.
Like in that one scene, I'm like it did not make clear that the dude in the red suit was Tokiomi. I'm like, okay, who is that guy? When he was doing the exposition, he's like, every time he said his name, it was panned out. It was like a wide shot. I couldn't see him speaking. I'm like, who is that guy?
So some of this information is important though, so I can understand why the scenes are still there. Like basically the first scene where like when Tokiomi and Kirei first talked, right? They talked about how the Grail they are fighting for at this specific moment in time. The fourth
is not the same one.
Is not the same one as the
the Jesus apparently used.
Yeah, but what he's specifically getting at is it's not the same one that was even fought in the past 3 wars.
Oh, that was what they were saying?
Yeah, see, like this is.
I didn't pick up on that one.
No, you probably wouldn't without like actual Nasu-verse knowledge. This is the problem with newbies. This was the same problem with me watching Fate Zero for the very first time. Is as I jumped to a lot of conclusions that were by far the most wrong I've probably ever been in my life about like anything. And so, in season 2, Kiritsugu talked to Angra Manyu, who was the spirit inside the Grail, right?
Oh, that's who that was? I had no idea what Angramayu was.
Yes, he is. He is something along the lines of I believe it's Persian, a Persian devil, who was a he was a servant in the Third Grail War, who basically ran off with the Grail, like. To make,
so that makes sense why the wish was kind of messed up.
Yes.
I see.
Yes, he tainted the Grail of his own power. Long story short, there's way more details to it than that, but I'm not going to get into the complicated yada yadas.
So that makes the ending make a little bit more sense.
Yeah. I mean, when I first watched Fate Zero, though, as a newbie, like, and I just sort of had, like, this idea of just the Grail was just sort of just this device that I always thought, like, what the Fate Zero was trying to go at, like, when I was still thinking of it as a standalone show was maybe the Grail was just too far beyond human comprehension, and like that's why you can't destroy a thing like that. That's why when Kiritsugu gave the order for it to be destroyed, it fought back, you know.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that idea that it's like, oh man, just like imagine just like you being powerless to a fucking cup. but like no, it's not nearly as exciting as I thought it was.
Yeah. I never expected it to actually be a cup. I thought it was symbolic. I didn't think it'd actually be an actual cup in the end.
Yeah. I'm also surprised
that was symbolic calling it the Holy Grail.
I'm surprised they never brought up like King Arthur actually trying to look for like the Grail like within his / her own mythology.
And his story.
Yeah. And kudos to you for
predicting who Berserker was.
Who Berserker was from like episode 5.
Yeah, I'm like episode 4. I'm like, I think Berserker's Lancelot. You like had the freak out looking at Saber. I'm like, Berserker was totally Lancelot. Drake's like, yeah, you're right.
I didn't want to tell you straight away, but you were just like, just let me know.
I'm like, if it's Lancelot, tell me, because I guessed it. And it was, and I was so happy.
Yeah, I mean, I never guessed it myself. A lot of my friends never guessed it. It was pretty funny actually watching one of my friends actually freak out when I was like, you can't look up who Berserker is, because when he asked me, he was like, who is Berserker? I'm like, I can't tell you, like, he's a spoiler. And he's like, God damn it, now you make me want to fucking look it up. Like,
he's not really that much of a spoiler. Really.
No, I mean, I guess...
There's not a...
I mean, it's not like the biggest spoiler ever, but it adds so much to Saber's character development that
the problem with that is Saber's not getting any development until Stay Night comes out.
No.
And it's like...
No, I argue with a lot of people on that statement because she did develop. The thing is...
Oh yeah, Saber did develop. Yes, I agree. But after Lancelot's reveal, it's like there's no time for her to develop more. She got a literal episode after Lancelot was revealed for the fight. After that, it was just destroy the Grail. Boom. No more Saber for the rest of the series.
Yeah, I mean, her development basically amounted to her being a blind
false king.
Yeah, a false king. But I figured I saw her more as a blind, you know, very. I don't want to say like ignorant. She's not stupid, but like she's a very.
I believe writer called her a silly girl. I believe were writer's exact words.
Yeah, she's very single-minded about what she thinks, like what righteousness is and what justice is and stuff like that. And then it's not until she sees what she's done to Lancelot based on how she ruled, you know, and how she was so easily forgiving and never actually ever punished people for their crimes. That.
Yeah. Though like. Really, some of the, was just her beating herself up. It's like, Lancelot's kind of got the cheating going on to make him crazy. He's not really that messed up. I have something to bring up. That entire series, everyone cheated. Like, seriously, everyone cheated. Like, Kiritsuki was, shooting everyone, stabbing him in the back. Karya used the, special alteration to make Berserker crazy. I think it was Archibald changed made 2 people the master. Everyone was cheating except for Waver.
I don't think Candace really cheated much. It was more like his fucking wife who cheated.
Well, yeah, but he cheated and made Lancer more powerful by having two people provide the strength to keep him there.
I don't
cheated.
remember him making Lance more powerful. I'll take your word for it.
No, I'm pretty sure having like the two mana sources gave him more strength to use his Noble Phantasm, because you have to use your own your caster's mana or whatever. So having two people providing it made his Noble Phantasm much stronger, right? Isn't that how it goes?
It would make sense.
So he was cheating. It's don't even get me started on Kirei. He cheated so much in that.
Well, I mean, Fate Zero basically made Kirei my favorite villain of all time. But he's not really like my favorite villain on his own. I really think of him and Gilgamesh as like a duo.
Co-villains.
Yeah, co-villains. Like they're one, because they play off each other so well, and you wouldn't really have Kirei without Gilgamesh.
Oh god, Kirei on his own would be so annoying. It's like, oh my god, we get it, you're good at stuff.
Yeah.
Develop a bit, get a personality.
But
No
Kirei was sort of like this deconstruction of like what it means to be evil just because you are. And then that's personally what I loved about him most, right? Was he never. I think he fully understood. He was well aware that he was evil, but he had to fight that temptation. So he always just looked at himself as if like he didn't know what he wanted to be when he was actually fully aware of it. Just had to fight that urge. And then so finally Gilgamesh talks him back into it. He doesn't really trick him. I feel like he genuinely talks him back into it because it's of Kirei's own free will to rejoin the Grail War, and that's why he gets the command seal back on his hand. Another detail.
And then he cheated and stole like 20 more.
You have to fucking read the Fate Stay Night visual novel to get. Is the rules behind the fucking command seals and when they do and do not show up.
But really, everyone cheated. It's like, the only person who didn't cheat was Waver and Caster. Though Caster wasn't even competing, technically.
No, not really. He just wanted his.
Caster just wanted to kill people. Caster's voice actor deserves some award for that, because that was brilliant.
Did you watch the show in dub at all, by any chance?
No, I watched it subbed.
I watched this show. I've seen this show both subbed and dubbed, and I will say that this is easily, by far, one of the best dubs I have ever heard in my life.
I know Calais Bear did Berserker, which I really want to hear, because Calais Bear, I want to see hear the Dragon Ball Z narrator go on psychotic rampages. That's all I want.
He goes on some of the best psychotic rampages you've ever heard.
Who voiced Caster in the dub?
I can't really name any names by heart. I don't really remember them. Like I remember Johnny Young Bosch doing Ryunosuke, or I remember
that fits incredibly well.
I remember like Waver's voice actor was new, like brand new. This was his very first role. Still excellent.
Waver. Oh god, don't even get me started on Waver. He was so annoying. Until like the payoff at the end when he and Ryder were good friends. Waver was so annoying.
Yeah.
Just nonstop. You can't do that, Ryder. You can't do that. It's like Ryder does what he wants.
So some of my favorite scenes in the entire show include Waver and Ryder. Specifically one of them being basically their goodbye to one another, and then how Waver stood up to Gilgamesh was
okay. That was awesome.
That was awesome, and I love how Gilgamesh actually respected it, because like he's not the douchebag I think everyone always thinks he is. Gilgamesh, he can respect people, and Zero has shown that he does do that, but like only when he thinks you're worthy, and it's a very high standard, yes, but he's not. He doesn't think he doesn't think of himself as divine, like in that sense. He just.
He kind of did.
He's just like the step below that.
Alright, the voice actor was Dan Warren. I'm gonna look for any other notable roles that he's done. Nope, I can't find anything else.
Yeah, precisely. That's what I'm saying.
He's just side characters. Really. It was in Persona 4. Apparently Igor in Persona 4. That's like the biggest role I can find. Yeah.
That's awesome. Too bad they changed fucking Igor's
was
role and People Were You.
I think he's just a few
They changed Igor's
like
voice actor.
some side characters in Magi. Like he's got like no main character roles. He was a few characters in Bleach. Oh, he was Byakuya in Bleach, in the Bleach dub.
Oh.
It's like the biggest role I can find on here that he's done, other than Caster.
Yo, my god, I can actually see it now. Fucking
What?
Castor and Igor, they sound exactly the same. I also really like. What's the voice actor's name for the one who did Gilgamesh?
Dub or sub?
Dub.
Let me open the page back up.
As Will finds his name, I'll admit probably he was probably I wouldn't say he was weak, but he took the longest to get into his role with Gilgamesh. But eventually, like when he got it, he kind of gave like Gilgamesh this accent, and I don't really know how to explain it, but it was.
Well, shouldn't Gilgamesh have an accent if he was like? I can't remember what Gilgamesh's empire was. Because he wasn't Macedonia, because that was Ryder. I'm trying to remember what Gilgamesh's.
No, but it was.
I can't remember.
But it wasn't like a Middle Eastern accent. It was, he ended like he kind of ended like every line with like an emphasis to it. It was really strange, but I loved it when I heard it. It's like during like the banquet when like him, Saber, and Ryder talked, and
the Grail dialogue.
Yeah, and he laughed, and he laughed at her, and she. She questioned him as to like what was so funny. His line went along something like this, but I'm gonna try to recreate the accent. It was like, oh, nothing. You just reminded me of the, like of the beautiful ladies, like the virgins that showered me and blah blah blah. But he talked like a prick, It's like he was like
That's a good definition.
Yeah, it's like he talked like this, and he always.
He sounds drunk.
I don't see. He wasn't drunk, but he talked like I guess the way I always assumed that Gilgamesh would. It took him a while to get there, but it was definitely way better than like the voice actor who did like the 2006 and 2010 dubs for him, where he just kind of sounded like a fucking like street thug, not like tough like.
The voice actor was David Vincent. He was Grimjaw on the Bleach dub, and apparently Senketsu in the Kill la Kill dub. And Assassin in Fate Stay Night. That's according to his Mal page.
Weird. Yeah, but he didn't talk like just a fucking like just white guy on the fucking street, So and I really enjoyed that performance. Oh yeah, Crispin Freeman was Kira. How could I forget that?
I need to go watch this in dub right now, because that sounds amazing. Oh my god. That fits so well. I can hear it now, and that's probably the best casting I've ever heard.
Okay, so...
it's weird?
What?
I find amazing. I was looking up Ryder's voice actor, and in Zero, he voiced Ryder. It's Jameson Price.
Yes, Jameson Price.
Zero, he voiced Ryder.
But he voices Kirei in the fucking Stay Night.
Yeah, Fate Stay Night. It's like, how?
You'd be surprised.
They're so different.
You'd be surprised that actually, I think a lot of the voice actors reprise their role, not reprise their roles, but a lot of voice actors from Stay Night
in the series.
Stay in the series, but just as different people. Like I don't think Jameson Price was the only one to like change roles. I would have to look it up
Right.
myself, but I feel like Jameson was more than just Jameson Price.
Well, Gilgamesh, like I said earlier, he voiced Assassin in Fate Stay Night.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that too.
Oh, and the guy who voiced Lancer voiced Gilgamesh in Fate Stay Night.
Oh.
Like Zero's Lancer.
Yeah,
who
Zero's-
voiced Gilgamesh in Stay Night.
Yeah. You know, and I recognized it too. I did. Because cause I thought I heard him again in the fucking in the fucking when the trailer for the dub first appeared, and I was like, no, they got him back for Gilgamesh. Don't ruin him again. And I didn't, thankfully. But yeah. So like I said, like a lot of change in rules. So I mean, if you're coming from like the Fate Stay Night dub to like the Zero dub or vice versa, this might mind fuck you a little bit.
I'm gonna link you to Waver's voice actor's page. But
So okay, so let's wow, this guy is skinny. Holy shit.
wait. That's not what I was linking the page for, but never mind.
I see Tiger and Bunny, Sword Art Online, Magi, K, Fate Zero, Blood Lad, Bleach, Sailor Moon, and Excel World. Not really voicing like the main character of any of them.
Yeah.
No, never mind. He's Kotetsu in Tiger and Bunny, so that is a main character.
One of my favorite things about Fate Zero was a dynamic between Ryder and Waver. Like by the end of it, they were just bros. By the end of it, it was like such a good feeling when like Waver used all of his command spells to make himself no longer the master. They went together as friends. It's like, okay, I'm a little sad now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that was... Pull back the man tears.
Yeah.
Pull back the man tears.
Yeah, and then both of us have seen the Fate Stay Night premiere, so we both know about how Archer Archer talked about how the broader the order, the less effective the spell. And so Waver just kind of telling Ryder, win the real war.
Win.
Yeah, just win doesn't really do much for him. But we all know that Waver was kind of just wasting them for the sake of wasting them. Like he wasn't really that much into the Grail War anymore. He just wanted to sort of set Ryder free from his command.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be equals with him.
Yeah, no, like not the master and servant, but friends.
But friends.
And then it became king and subject.
Yeah.
In like 5 seconds.
but still friends though, you know. Like
you get the meaning.
Yeah, you
get the point behind
you
it.
get the point. He's his subject because he wants to be, because he cares about him, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Waver was probably like the only guy who didn't get fucked over in this entire show. Like he's the only one with a happy ending.
Yeah, he ended up getting to stay like the fake grandson of those people.
Yeah, he went
to travel the world.
Yeah, he went to go travel the world. He actually becomes like a fucking teacher in the college.
He does.
Yeah, in the college in London. Fate Fate Stay Night or Fate Zero, or like none of the really like Fate material ever kind of covers this. It's just sort of like background information that I found on the wiki. I'm sure it maybe has to say it somewhere, because someone got the information from somewhere, but I don't know where. I mean, there's so many fucking Fate adaptions, I can't count them all.
Yeah.
But all right. So this was a really dialogue-heavy show, right? And a lot of people tend to also kind of hold that as like the show's biggest weakness, No,
that's the biggest weakness for the first half.
Well, like why though? Like do you think it's possibly pretentious, as a lot of people say, or like the ideals are they're like we've grown past that, like they're too old?
Kind of, yeah, a little bit. during the exchange, the quote-unquote Grail dialogue, I'm like, okay, we get it. You guys like chivalry. Can we please get past this and start winning the war now? It's like, they cover that in so much detail about... I mean, I get the point that King Arthur and
because
Diarma, like,
it was,
they were very focused on chivalry.
It was all leading to a point, you know, with when you finally saw Ryder's army.
Oh god, that was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was
like, Ryder is so overpowered.
It was such an epic. But then like Gilgamesh ends up being even more overpowered than that.
It's like Gilgamesh was nerf Gilgamesh. That was ridiculous.
Like I don't know if we're ever gonna get like a fight scene between Saber and Gilgamesh, considering this is Unlimited Blade Works. But the Excalibur can match. It can match the Aya. They are of equal power, you could say, like when they fucking shoot their attacks at one another. So it's kind of strange how I don't think how the Excalibur would be able to like destroy like the Ionian Heteroi, but it would be able to like match against the Aya. But like the Aya can't destroy the Excalibur, but it can like destroy the Ionian Heteroi, right? Like I think there's sort of there's like that little chain, you know, that like one can beat the other. It's
like Pokemon style. One beats the other, beats the other.
Yeah.
And then the loop. No one can beat the other.
Yeah, there's a fairness to like how this. To sort of
rock, paper, scissors.
How their fucking powers
Saber's
work.
rock.
Yeah.
Gilgamesh's scissors. Ryder's paper. So, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
You can't really win.
Because I think even Weber specifically stated that the Ionian Heteroi would be able to win over the Excalibur because it's such a singular, like narrow attack.
It's like.
And
they mentioned they were fighting Caster, like.
And he questioned Ryder why he didn't use it when they fought finally, like in the chase scene.
Which was a very good chase scene.
Yeah, very very great chase scene.
Beautifully animated.
Like this, Aoki, like he can animate some great action scenes. I totally admit that. But you know what? Like, I gotta give the credit to what's his face, directing Fate Stay Night right now. Like his action scenes are.
Oh, that fight at the end of the first episode was amazing.
Yes, they are so much.
Let's save that for later, though.
Yeah, but I want to bring one thing up though. The reason why I kind of compare it is because what I find funny was Fate Zero was rather grounded in terms of its fight scenes. Like every little swing, every little stab of like a blade or a sword, you know, was fatal, and you always tried to avoid it. You know, it wasn't Dragon Ball Z teleporting everywhere the place, blah 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 blah. That was those fights were kind of saved for the masters.
That was Berserker fights.
Like those were like Berserker.
Yeah, those were the Berserker fights.
Those were like the Berserker fights, and those were also kind of saved for the masters. Like Kiritsugu versus Kaneth and Kiritsugu versus Kirei kind of had that over the topness.
There was no Kiritsugu versus Kaneth.
Well, Kaneth had his fucking.
Except for when he blew his
had his fucking like little ball thing that was fucking tearing apart the entire mansion.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was awesome though. That was kind of awesome.
And Kiritsugu was flipping over it and shit. But but especially Kiritsugu versus Kirei. Holy shit, that
was a great fight.
That got to like Dragon Ball Z crack levels of action, and I kind of like how the servants were fighting more on a grounded level and the masters were fighting more on an over the top level, and then Fate Stay Night just turns that right around. And all of a sudden, it's the servants fighting on the more over-the-top level, and it's like the masters who are probably more grounded. Because even Ren's like, "Whoa, like this is what the servant battle can be like." I had no idea.
Like a servant battle looked like.
So I find little inconsistencies like that funny, but I blame Fate Zero for that because Fate Zero was the one that was supposed to come second, considering how Fate Stay Night started as a novel in 2004. And Fate Zero only came later, you know? So, like, whatever inconsistencies it has with Fate Stay Night, it's not so much Fate Stay Night's fault, but more so Fate Zero's fault. Well, one of them that always really bothered me, and probably my second biggest flaw, or it's kind of tied. It's kind of tied with the ending to Fate Zero is that Saber. But the writer, the words he gives to Saber, about her not respecting her men, and that's why she's a bad king, and she needs to like respect their sacrifices. Those are basically word for word what Shiro tells Saber, and she recovers from her depression from that. Like it's so it boggles my mind how Ryder and Shiro can say the same exact thing, but Ryder's
fails.
Yeah, but Ryder's fails with no real explanation as
No, Ryder's
to
put
why.
her into the depression.
Yeah, Ryder's put her into the depression. Hearing the
She said the same thing. She came out of it.
Gets her out of it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But it's Fate Zero's fault because it's supposed to be the prequel, and therefore kind of fucked that up. And I think it's great development for Saber, you know, in that torturous way, because everyone has to get fucking tortured in this show. Like in that torturous way, if Zero was standalone, but it's not.
Yeah.
And I would consider, and I would love to respect Fate Zero as a standalone series, if only the ending was different. And it's not like the ending had to be like something entirely different, it just had to be expanded upon, because without the novels or without Fate Stay Night flashing back to Fate Zero, you're not gonna actually really know what happened during that time that Kirei and Gilgamesh were unconscious to bring them back to life. And that information is necessary as to understanding what their goals are in Fate Stay Night and what the actual consequences to Fate Stay Night are in general.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I have to say, Kiritsugu is like one of the best anti-hero characters I've ever seen. She's like, I'm like, yeah, he's kind of a good character. Watching this, like, gets up to when he takes out Lancer, I'm like, dude.
That's another
messed
pacing
up.
problem I have. Is it's not just episode 11, but Kiritsugu's 2 flashback episodes, 18 and 19.
Oh, those were random.
Yeah, episodes 18 and 19 I think should have been 17 and 18. They should have been one episode before, because because at the end of the episode of Saber versus Lancer, you know, Kiritsugu and Saber, you know, they had their big talk, and Saber realized that Kiritsugu was only this way because of some kind of dark past that he had. And then we could have went into that the next episode, but instead we spent more time in the present focusing on Kirei, and then flash back into Kiritsugu the next episode very randomly. And it would have been a much better,
it felt out of place.
It would have been a much better segue if it was just one episode prior.
Yeah, it would have been a lot better. Though it's like, one thing I didn't get about the flashbacks were, why zombies? Why did it need zombies?
I don't know why zombies. I can't answer that. It was pretty weird, but I accepted it.
I was like, why are zombies necessary? The zombies haven't been in the series yet. I mean, if they'd mentioned one or two things
zombies are in Kara no Kyokai, which is a part of the Nasuverse, but for Fate Zero itself, it was extremely out of place. It was weird.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, if they'd mentioned before, like earlier in the series, about the idea of the ghouls, it's like they were just, the zombies were ghouls who couldn't control their bloodlust, I think was what they said. Like, the one guy with those bees inside him was a ghoul who could control his need for blood, and those who couldn't were the crazy zombie people, right? Isn't that how it went?
I don't remember what that dude with the bees inside him was, but yeah, basically, it was. I mean, zombies can't control their bloodlust to begin with. They're just zombies.
Yeah. I did like how in the end, as soon as she mentioned his ability to separate his emotions, I'm like, he's gonna kill her. Kiritsugu's gonna blow her out of the sky. On that scene when she's when the chick who raised him's like trying to land the plane, and he just shoots her down. It's like,
yeah, it was really sad. And it wasn't even so much the moment that he shot her down was the sad part. It was
his breakdown.
It was his breakdown, like just only a minute later.
Which I don't think the animation served That was like the one time when I didn't think the animation was good enough. Because like the voice actor did an amazing job making like with the like despair in his voice. The animation's just like.
Oh yeah, Kiritsuga sounded so broken. I felt that. I mean, that was one of the best performances I've ever heard in my life, and I can only list very few very memorable scenes that like I've ever like heard from anime. Like some of the ones I love are from this show, Shinseki Yuri, and well, one I always really give credit to, despite being how horrible the show was Valvrave, because I think Akira's.
I've not seen Valvrave.
It was bad.
Or its most common title is Valvrave, I believe is the common title for that show.
No, the Valvrave. It was funny, but Akira's voice actress, I forget her name. I remembered it at the time because she was just so good. But Akira's voice actress in that show was amazing. That girl went through so many nervous breakdowns, and she did all of them so well. Getting out of that, Kiritsuga's face looked a little bit weird during his breakdown scene.
It's like he wasn't showing enough emotion in that scene. It's like the voice actor was showing a ton of emotion during like that scene. It's like the animation's like you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I wanted it to be too over the top though.
Oh no, I'm saying the voice work was fine, but the animation needed to be more over the top for it.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know if I really wanted the animation more over the top, because like the expression on his face was already kind of strange, and I don't know if I needed it to be like any stranger with like him, moving around so much. Because
I see what you mean, but it just felt like what's the word? I can't remember the word. But it's like it didn't feel like it matched up, the voice and the animation and all that.
I was okay with it, and I'm not saying his face was strange as a negative. I mean he actually looked like a broken man. It was fine.
Yeah.
But no, I was all right with that. I didn't think there were any issues. A lot of my issues with this show solely come from pacing problems, and that is it.
Oh yeah.
Because dialogue wise, I think is fine. Writing, I think is fine, or at least what dialogue there was, whatever was not skipped, whatever writing there was that was not skipped. It was all fine. Whatever was skipped or
everything except episode 10 felt like it was needed. Nothing felt like just we're talking for the sake of talking. It's like, no, you need to know this. This will be important in 3 episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like no line was no line was wasted. Even if it felt poorly paced at times, like no line was wasted. And the show just needed one more episode, or dedicate the filler episode to the time slot and then explaining what happened at the end.
Yeah, because that made no sense. Like, I understood up to him being like, it was like, I can save the world by like killing over half of it. It was like the analogy it was basically making, right? Like the 500 people, 300 people on one boat, 200 on the other.
No, I love that
to
scene.
Save the.
Holy shit, I love that scene. That fucking.
That was a great scene.
With the boats, I thought that was so brilliant. I mean, wow. Like I know Kiritsuga wanted to be a hero, but like that was a hard-hitting question that even kind of hit me. I was like, what the fuck, man? Now I gotta really like think about this.
It's like I never thought about it like that. And then the Grail's like, I mean, I could kill everyone who would ever do anything evil in the world, and we'd have the peace you want. It's like, not really worth it.
Yeah, because it's like to save the world is not to destroy it, you know, which is my big problem with a lot of fucking anime villains, because I hate that cliche.
It's like 90% of villains.
Yeah, I like how
who it's like, I will save the world by killing half of the population. So basically, you hate psychopaths.
I like how Kiritsuga turned it down, and I like how only Agumon never really meant it. or I don't think he really like believed it, but like because just Angramanyu is evil, right? Like he will say whatever it takes to manipulate one's mind of thinking. So it's
Yeah.
so like even he may not believe that the way to save the world is to end it, but to
He wanted
grant,
Kiritsugu to do it so he could destroy the world anyway.
yeah, to destroy the world anyway, because that is his ultimate goal, is his revenge on the worlds. But hopefully Fate Stay Night will cover that further.
Yeah, I hope so. So I think we've just about covered everything we can for Fate Zero.
Yeah, Fate Zero, loved
It's about
it.
50 minutes.
Yeah, no,
I really enjoyed it.
yeah, loved it. It's my second favorite anime, but some big pacing problems that hold it back, and it definitely
I didn't put it in my favorites.
and it definitely skipped over some needed details that we're at this time are unsure that Fate Stay Night will be able to cover. And I'm only and I'm furthermore worried that, you know, maybe Fate Stay Night won't live up to Fate Zero, because I've never liked Fate Stay Night as a visual novel. I've read it. I've read all of it. And
I've never read any visual novels ever.
And I've only ever really finished Fate Stay Night and like Little Busters, and that's it. I've tried reading other ones, but they all put me to fucking sleep. And Fate Stay Night put me to sleep a lot too. It's just I played it for so long that eventually I got to the end. Like, that's how it happened.
That's kind of sad.
Little Busters was the only one that ever kept me entertained because it had like mini games, and I was like just fucking like it had like this one baseball mini game.
Games.
Yeah, it had this one baseball mini game that I always just kept playing to fucking like hit baseballs at cats, because it was like baseball. Yes, there were cats that would sometimes roam the field, right? Because your pitcher was like a cat girl. Well, she wasn't like a Nekomimi cat girl, but she loved cats, so she would always bring your pet cats with her to baseball. And I would always like
so you
aim
hit
for
them
them.
with baseballs.
And you can hit the cats, and it was fun.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. So nonetheless, I don't like Fate Stay Night as much. I don't like. I respect Fate Stay Night as a visual novel and how it's set up, like in its entirety, and how the Fate route and the Unlimited Blade Works route and the Heaven's Feel route kind of tell a sort of experience. It's kind of like a journey, more so than like a story, because all three routes require like information from the other. They all borrow information from one another, and they tie together to tell this kind of one tale of what it means to grow up. So one route is sort of more childish, another one's a little bit more grown up, and then another one's a little bit more grown up than that. And you really see like Shiro's ideals evolve with each route. And I respected that as a visual novel, but I've never really ever thought that worked in a visual media, in an anime medium, right? I don't want to tell someone you have to watch the 2006 version, and then you have to watch the 2014 Unlimited Blade Works anime, and then you have to watch the Heaven's Feel movie to actually get the full experience.
That's just stupid.
It doesn't sound right.
But then when you like combine all of the different routes, you screw it up even more.
I hope they combine.
You know what I mean?
I hope they combine the routes. Like, I hope they will tie in Saber's character development from the Fate route into Unlimited Blade Works, because I think it can be easily redone, and because that's the only thing from the Fate route you really need. And then from there, have what Unlimited Blade Works solely exists to do, you know, because that's Unlimited Blade Works has. It has an element going for it, all right? I don't want to give away what it is, but it has one specific element going for it that a lot of people love or hate. And I think once you get that out of the way, you can just go straight for the Heaven's Feel story and just finish it off. Like,
didn't you tell me that like I think it was Unlimited Blade Works is like 90% setup, 10% satisfying payoff, or something like that? Or was that Heaven's Feel?
I don't think I ever said that to you at all.
I'm positive you did. Let me check through the chat.
If I'm the only I think I don't know how many people have talked to you about Fate. If that's the case, then when it comes to Heaven's Feel, it feels so empty because when you look at it like as a standalone visual novel, you question where a lot of the information came from, where a lot of it went, because stuff just kind of happens sometimes for the sole sake of it happening, and then it only really does it because of the visual novel medium. Like when Shiro develops in Unlimited Blade Works, it feels a lot more natural, and I liked it. When Shiro develops in Heaven's Feel, I didn't like it as much because it literally happens like in a split second as a player decision. And if that gets adapted into the anime, I don't want that to come across the same way. I don't want it to come across as just Shiro thinks one way and then immediately he just decides, no, I'm going to do this instead.
Yeah.
But who knows? There's a lot of mystery to be had. And however Fate Stay Night turns out, whether it ends up being just a three-way adaptation of the three routes or combines them or whatever, will probably affect how I view Fate Zero in the future. But as a standalone, I still love it. And sometimes, like, I just stick with my own assumptions, or I let people make their own assumptions, to those who just watch Fate Zero on its own, because that's all you really can do with some of the details that get skipped over. And I still like my own assumptions better than what the actual explanations were from Fate Stay Night.
Well, you think we about covered Fate Zero?
Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly done. I've talked so much about it, so much I've had to say for years, just built up, that I finally got to say. And I guess your thoughts are probably still settling, or maybe you just don't think of it as deeply.
Yeah. Not really as deeply as most people hyped it up. It's like, I mean, I get what they're saying. It just didn't affect me that much. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's such a deep show. I'm like, I mean, I see what you guys mean, but not really.
Yeah.
Like, I can see where you think it's a deep show. It's like,
yeah, there's some disconnection there because a lot of the topics they talk about are very, very removed from society today.
Chivalry.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I spent like 4 episodes talking about chivalry.
What it means to be a king. I'm like, well, there really not many kings exist anymore, so who
There are
knows?
like
Who knows?
maybe
Who
10
cares?
kings left on Earth at this point.
But for what it was, I loved it, and I personally didn't find it very pretentious. Since I thought like all the ideals that were being tossed around were just sort of told to the characters themselves. They weren't really told to the audience, saying you need to think this way. They're like,
yeah, like they were outdated ideals, but they were not pretentious.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like that's precisely how I think.
So I think it's time we move on to our episodes.
Yeah, so we can finally start on our episodes. So I bet you've been waiting for this, right, guys? We should probably put a fucking spoiler warning at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, we'll record that after this.
Okay. Yeah, great. So let's
go ahead and start.
Yeah, let's start with the first show that aired this week, or kind of more so last Friday. Is Selector Spread WIXOSS.
Is it WIXOSS or WIXOSS? It's like the X. Is it a cross or an X?
I don't know. And I always get corrected all the fucking time. I'm like, did you know X Wars? No, it's Cross Wars. Project X Zone. Oh no, it's Project Cross Zone. And I'm like, you all go.
No, it's X Zone. It's Project X Zone.
But you sure? Because I mean, it's like everything crosses over, and I've been corrected before by like GameStop guys, and it's Cross Zone. And I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Well, that sounds stupid though. I mean, like, you can't really like take the pronunciation in the show. It's like the CR makes a clicking noise, like with cross or something like that. It sounds like, are you saying cross or what? I don't understand accents. But I guess we start.
Anyways, yeah, I mean, so far I only really have like one thing to say about WIXOSS. Still, which is the same exact thing I had to say from the very first season, is what is the point?
Oh yeah, it's like, all right, so you're saying some god being made some card game that turns people into card spirits just for fun? Why? That better be explained this season, or are we docking a few points?
we can only hope, right? And I didn't even really like. I guess I liked season 1 for what it was, but I still didn't understand what the overall goal was. Like even whatever the main villain is doing, offering her own little what the fuck are you world, I'm fine with that. You make up whatever bullshit you want, but you still haven't told me a reason as to why anyone actually plays this fucking game. I don't get it. Like,
I guess it's just because it was a fun card game in universe. I guess that's why everyone's playing it. I'm assuming.
No, but I mean,
It's
like why did the selectors,
god being
though,
choose that game?
Yeah, like why do the selectors like fight so hard for like their fucking wishes? Like I don't.
I mean, if you were promised a wish, wouldn't you go for it?
No, I would. That's not the way I want to put it, but it's like I look at it in like specifically like what our main character is doing, right? Like I wonder.
Man. She has no motivation for it. It's like,
she has no motivation.
I mean, I just want to keep playing. That was her wish.
I want to keep playing. Well, congratulations, you get to keep playing. I don't know why
you don't have to do this.
I don't know why you're so upset.
You don't have to do like these, like, if I lose this, I might do something or other. Like, what, never be able to play a card game again? Would that be the reverse of her wish? It's like, you can just play it like the tabletop version and not go through any of this crap, right?
I think she gets a thrill from like being hurt. I think she's a little masochistic.
I can see that.
But it's just like I don't understand why this game just exists. I don't understand what the villain is getting from it, and I don't really understand like what the main characters have to do with what the bigger picture is.
Yeah, like there's no reason for the villain to be doing it other than entertainment, which is an awful villain thing. It's like, I'm doing it because I want to have fun. It's like, you can have fun plenty of other ways than ruining people's lives, right?
I mean, she's stuck in her. I don't know if she's stuck in her own little dimension thing. I don't know why like WIXOSS was chosen as like the card game to adapt for her little fucking tournament thing that like is going on. Why couldn't it be fucking Pokemon or why couldn't it be fucking like poker?
Because copyright rules.
Dude, poker isn't copyrighted. Play blackjack.
Play blackjack. I want to see that now. Oh wait, that's called Kaiji. It already exists. Not exactly.
Make something basically along the lines of like Death Billiards, but has like a full 24-episode show.
I've never seen Death Billiards, but I know enough about it for that to be a great joke.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't really like about the first episode of the season was half it was recap, which I mean I get is needed since it's been 4 months since the show ended. A bit of recap on what happened in the final episodes is good, but it's like half an episode. It's like all you needed was that final scene when the wish fails. Boom. All right, back. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
That was all that's needed.
The recap in this didn't bother me, and jumping ahead a little bit, the recap in Log Horizon didn't bother me either. It's like both of those were fine. I thought they were handled especially well because it wasn't like it was a lot.
Yeah, but it was like in WIXOSS, it was like too much. It's like it's been like 4 months. I didn't forget everything from episode 1 to the end. Right? I still have a faint memory of it. If I'm caring enough to watch season 2, I remember what happened in season 1. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly true. But
if I'm gonna watch season 2, I had to care enough about season 1 and remember enough of it to care.
No. I got it. Here's what I think about it. It's not so much that like I thought like the flashbacks were like too little or too much or like just the right amount. But it's like I enjoyed that. It's like if you're gonna have flashbacks at all, use them, and they did. Like they let Ruko actually like kind of remember the flashback and then think, oh man, I don't want to go back home again. Like,
Yeah, it's like
and
it was a good way to do a flashback instead of just like a montage at the beginning. It was her actually remembering the events as they happened throughout the show. It's like, okay, I give you points for that.
I would have greatly
still
preferred to
excessive.
see like Ruko and like Hitoe actually like be friends again instead of sort of just jumping ahead and be like, oh man, like the trio's back together, like just
Yeah, like
because.
I mean, if I well, no, really, it was kind
Well,
of.
no. I mean, you're right. You're like it was.
If I'm really
like,
correct from the end of the show,
they said it was going. They said it was going to happen. I know, but it's. I would still have liked to have seen it happen. You know, like actually see like Hitoe come visit Ruko at some point and be like, "So can we hang out again or something?" You know, not just immediately end their fight and then go straight to the next one. Have Ruko win/lose ish, and then
yeah,
just like everything's all hunky dory again.
wasn't it like a month or something like that? It was a time skip after the event. I remember seeing something like 1 month later or something at the end of it, like the beginning of the episode.
And everyone makes a really good point. Like, why the fuck doesn't Ruko throw away her card?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I get that she wants to keep battling, but
No,
you have a better chance of just buying more sets and getting a new rig.
Yeah, like, why not? See, the way I see it is, why not just like, can you trade? Like, can you trade L-Rig cards? Like, can you just like
Probably not the spirit ones. But if it was like the normal card game, you probably could.
I mean, but you can like throw them away so easily, can't you? Like you can just get rid of them and say because like some characters were being encouraged throughout the show, you know, in the first season, like just throw me away. Like it's that simple. And I only imagine like if you can do that, can anyone else just pick you up? Like can Ruko just fight with like with Yuzuki? Is that her name? Yeah. Well, can she just like fight with like Yuzuki instead of Iona?
Well, for one, it'd screw up her deck, but probably it'd screw up her playing, but
Yeah,
probably good.
Yeah, right. Because
assuming how the series went
the decks were based on colors.
on like typings. Yeah, color typing.
This game makes no sense either. Like they still haven't explained the rules.
It's like it was like a card game tie-in with like no emphasis on the card game. Like, so how is this game played? All I'm seeing is like tragedies. How do you play this game?
I don't know what the health system is. I don't know how powerful
it's
the
like,
cards are.
how does one win this game?
I don't know what the cards do.
They never said how you win the game.
I don't know how many cards are in a deck.
Things happen.
Yeah, it's just you just kind of accept it.
It was like the worst. It was like one of the greatest shows I've ever seen, but it was like the worst tie-in I have ever seen for a product. You know what I mean?
Is this even a real game? I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
It's a real game.
Oh. All right.
Look it up and I'll give you a Wikipedia link.
All
but yeah,
right.
it's like an actual tie-in for a game. But like the game
Well, I
had
mean,
nothing to do with the actual show.
If it is, I would have.
It is pronounced WIXOSS.
It is.
According to the Wikipedia page, Selector infected WIXOSS, pronounced WIXOSS.
WIXOSS. Oh my god. Alright, fine.
Yeah.
Fine, I'm pronouncing it WIXOSS
No.
now. Oh my god, I see it too. Oh dear lord.
It started after the show began. It was when the actual card game started.
Yeah,
April 26th, and the show began.
I don't doubt it. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, Yu-Gi-Oh's the same thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was not an advertisement for that card game. The show came first, and the card game only came second because the show sold so well.
Well, no, that was the opposite. Season 0 came first, then the card game actually started, and then the actual show started.
Well, okay, no. It's more like the manga, alright? Like, because like, the manga already had, like, Season 0. And then
the manga was Season 0.
That little arc.
And then after Season 0, they actually started the cards.
Yeah, like that little arc.
And then the show that we all know.
The arc against Kaiba that had the card game was just such a fan favorite that they made a card game out of it.
And then that's where the actual series.
And then that's when the actual series started.
Everyone grew up with started.
Because the mangaka was just like, well, everyone fucking loves this card game, so I guess that's just where my fucking...
I'll make a ton of money off it.
Yeah, that's where my story's gonna go now. That wasn't the original intention, but sure, why not?
Infected started April 3rd, 2014, and the game started the 26th of April.
I have all of the Yu-Gi-Oh manga for the record. The original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist and Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium World, and I'm proud of it.
I've seen all of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh yeah, I watched all the anime.
journey.
I watched all the anime too, but I own all of the manga because the manga's so much better.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, but WIXOSS, fuck. I don't know, like, it's just, I'm still waiting for this series to go somewhere, because it's just running around in circles.
I'm really wanting to see, like, what happened at the end and why, Tama disappeared. It's like, what happened? Why'd she get replaced?
Honestly, I never even really questioned it when it happened. I don't know why I didn't question it. I think it's just I didn't care. But it's like I'm just letting the show do what it wants now because I can't figure it out. But then again, it's Mario Kota, and I can never figure out what the fuck she's ever doing with anything.
Oh god, we had like that 2-hour conversation about how awful a writer she is. It's like, oh, she wrote Aquarian Evil. We love it.
We love it.
She wrote M3. She's awful.
Yeah, like
she wrote Toradora.
I mean, I haven't seen Toradora. I refuse to watch it because I don't like Tsunderes. However good it may be, it's just I just kind of won't watch it off fucking like just principle. But according to a lot of people, really good, right? So it's like
yeah, it's really good.
Bam, like Mario Kota, really good for Toradora and like Anohara and Blast of Tempest and Sakura So. But then you look at other shit.
It's like no, like Aquarian Evil, good. Black Rock Shooter, no.
Black Rock Shooter.
Kanan,
no.
Apparently you liked. You liked Kanan, right?
Kanan. No, she didn't write Kanan.
Canaan.
No. Fucking Nasu.
She did the script.
Nasu wrote Kanan.
What?
I think.
She did the script for Kanan.
Script. I don't really count script. I tend to count more so
and
like
series
like series composition. Positive.
But yeah, she did the composition for it. For Kanan.
All right. Well, I know Rose. I fucking know Nasu from Type Moon threw in his own 2 cents in there somewhere too.
Yeah. Though what I find hilarious is we can blame her for people die if they are killed. She wrote the script for Fate's Day Night.
Yeah, right. She fucking wrote the first Fate's Day Night.
She wrote people die if they are killed. Well, alright, well, getting off bad jokes. She did Fractale, which I really enjoyed when I watched.
No, she wrote the manga for Fractale. I specifically looked that up because that was kind of I was kind of loose because I knew beforehand that it was Hiroyuki Yoshino, who's the writer of Gundam Seed Destiny, Guilty Crown, the first season of Magi, the Darker Black season 2. You know, I knew beforehand that he wrote Fractale, which is kind of why I refused to watch it.
No, he didn't.
No, the anime. He wrote.
I'm on the anime page. He didn't do those.
The Wikipedia says he did, and then the Wikipedia says that Mario Kota wrote the manga, which I was going off the Wikipedia because I don't trust mail. Honestly, I tend to believe Wikipedia over mail. Like I'm just saying, I do. Mail, it's fucking I don't know sometimes.
Yeah, mail gets hacked very easily. But like, alright, going off that. Whatever she did for Fractale, she wrote part of Fractale, so it's important.
Yeah.
And she apparently did both seasons of Black Butler. Season 2, which I've heard is awful.
Yeah, season 2 was an anime original, from what I've heard. It did not follow the manga. She did the composition
for it.
Which is why they kicked her out for season 3.
And then one of the worst shows I've ever watched, M3, The Dark Metal. She did the script and composition for, which was the worst thing from spring 2014. I will say that. It was the first thing.
This woman overworks herself. She was writing M3 and WIXOSS at the same fucking time.
Yeah. And then she apparently did Sakura So, which I've never seen, but I've heard it's great.
Oh, Sakura So,
and Infected. Love. She did script and composition for Infected WIXOSS. She's doing just the composition for Spread WIXOSS, apparently. According to Mao, she's not writing the script for the second season.
You know what? Just always go to ANN. Like if you want visual facts, just always go to ANN. Fucking Anime News Network.
She did the composition for Toradora, which was great, and she did the composition for Blast of Tempest. It's like, how? Just so much good thing. She's written so much good stuff.
She's so bipolar.
She's written so much awful stuff. She's the most bipolar writer I've ever heard of.
The only reason why she's so bipolar is because I think like it's that same idea that you have with any work of fiction, right? It's when are you not constrained? Like, I think Evil was only so good as it was because Shoji Kawamori, I think that was the original writer's name of the first series, because she had to go off his lore, and even then she already fucking like backstabbed some of it. But
what do you mean?
Like fucking like the dog stuff. I don't think the dog.
No, that was his original idea. I did some research and that was his original idea, but his editor said no, that's stupid. When he wrote Genesis, he originally wrote it as Apollo was the reincarnation of Apollon, the dog. But his writers told me he was stupid, and so he couldn't do that.
I know that scene got in there eventually, but I don't think it was until like approaching Evil or like after Evil. Around the OVA time was when that scene got inserted for the sake of continuity, trying to make it more continuity with Evil, because without it, like a lot of stuff doesn't make sense.
Alright, I guess we should move on to Log Horizon Season 2.
Log Horizon Season 2. So the
Studio Dean.
The biggest
Studio Dean.
Yeah, the fucking biggest thing that everyone is fucking looking at right now, you know, the black sheep is
Studio Dean.
Is Studio Dean.
Dean.
And
over being awful.
Okay. First of all, I don't blame Studio Dean for what became a Fate Stay Night, because we already covered that Mary Akota wrote that dialogue and a lot of what happened in it, and it was entirely awful.
People die if they're killed.
Not even if people die, they're killed. Because I like that line in context. There's stuff
in context, it makes sense. But
there's stuff in Fate Stay Night that bothers me, like references to the visual novel that are so in your face that people won't get it, and it'll just feel weird if you haven't read the visual novel. Like there's like one scene in the anime where Ren and Sakura are kind of talking to each other in silence, and you're just looking at their lips move, and you don't know what the fuck they're saying. I know what the fuck they're saying, but you don't know what the fuck they're saying, and because it's not relevant to what that anime was, and it was just sort of like a reference for the fans, but it was too upfront of a reference that it throws you off, right?
Yeah, like a good reference to the fans is like in Trigger's latest show, Eno Battle, or I'm not gonna say the really long title that's in English, but like
the boxing gloves.
Yes, the boxing gloves were hilarious.
Yeah, right.
She just punches Ando in the face. She got the laugh of her boxing gloves. It's like, see, that's how you do a reference. That's how you reference something.
But
I argue that we should have included that show on here.
I'm not putting. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm telling you honestly, I'm not.
Aww, it's actually a pretty good show.
I know. Sadness.
It's like if Chernivia was not awful.
Sadness, but you know, it's like there's stuff on here that I'm gonna be watching that you and me, you know, didn't put on this list. Like Parasite, I'll definitely be watching. Sorry guys,
dude, I'm already watching 41 shows.
It's not on the list. Amagi Brilliant Park, I'm watching. Sorry guys.
Oh god, that was bad.
We didn't put it on the list.
Amagi Brilliant Park was bad.
I don't.
Log Horizon. All right.
Yeah. So Log Horizon. Okay.
Oh god. The beginning made no sense.
Studio Dean, as an animation studio for this, is okay, with the exception of the opening. That looked fucking like shit. It was so choppy and had so many still frames, and it was so out of sync from the music. They didn't have enough money to.
But at least they kept
music.
database, right?
It's so overused by this point.
That is very true, but
I like the song, but I wanted something different. And the thing is, I've heard Man with a Mission make songs like Database before and be just as good. And in all honesty, if you were even too afraid to do that, the guy who you can always fucking get to write epic music, I mean not epic music, but really good rock tunes that just get your fucking blood pumping all the time. Get Daisuke Ishiwatari, right? Have him compose a song for you.
What's he done?
He fucking does like the soundtracks for like Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue.
I haven't seen those.
If
played
you,
them.
It's more like play, but if you listen to those soundtracks, they're fucking hardcore metal. It's like back to back. Yeah,
Now, if they wanted something, they should have gotten Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I love those guys. They're amazing.
Oh yeah, fucking
Chase the Light and Brent Holder had Virtue and Vice, which was amazing.
Virtue and Vice was so amazing. Fuck you to anyone who thought Virtue and Vice was a bad opening. Virtue and Vice was awesome.
I mean, it came in at a bad time. It's like, even at a stupid time, it's like, alright, yeah, let's do it in episode 10 of 13. Here's new opening. It's like, that was stupid.
That was kind of stupid.
But the song was awesome.
But the song was so great. And
you used Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, so we're okay with it.
I hate dubstep, so anyone who fucking loved that dubstep opening, like, you can go fuck yourselves. There's like, there's like 3 dubstep songs in the entire world that I like. Only 3 I've ever heard in my life. Right? And fucking that opening was not one of them.
It's like the opening was okay once, but when it's like, it became the background music for every scene, I'm like, you're cheap. You just had this done so you could get it as background music. That's what you did.
We're gonna get to that with Flowed Like Akatsuki no Yona too, alright? But, sticking to Log Horizon, besides the opening, their animation
and a
is
few
fine.
Character designs.
It's the character designs where things go wrong. I don't like how Shiro has like a more like narrow face to make him. He actually looks kind of like Asian now. It's strange, but he doesn't look as scary. And fucking Regal, the fucking wizard in like the library, like he doesn't look menacing anymore. He looks like a bum, which was really bad.
Yes.
Like the fucking
bum.
Akatsuki, they made like more chiseled to make her look more tough, and I hate it. And like I think this might just be me, but like I think Natsugu's hair is like greener too.
It's like different colors. Like the back is like the color it was before. It's like the front, like where it's like spiked up a bit, it's like bright green. It's like, I mean, I get this is a fantasy show, but he didn't have bright green hair last season, and nothing's really changed since then, right?
I would just thank God we're getting the fucking visual. Not the fucking visual. Thank God we're getting the light novels, because I will just
yes, Yen Press are gods.
Yes, right, Yen Press. I love you so much.
It's like no, Yen Press have like made me so happy these last few months. Like they got Kagero Project, which I am so hyped for. Like I would have already read those novels by now, but I can't. I cannot read like book length things on my computer screen. It just hurts my eyes. Like if I had the light novel, I'm like, well, there's my reading in class for the next few years. Rereading Kagero Project.
I've only ever read 2 light novels. Those being Spice and Wolf, which I own physically, and Ori-Imo, which I did read online.
You read Ori-Imo, you poor man.
Yeah. You know,
I watched the adaptation.
Ori-Imo's not that bad as a novel, with exception for the ending. The ending does happen the way it does happen in the anime, but it's the novels are much better than the anime. Or should I say they're much better than season 2 of the anime.
Oh yeah, season 2 was like
I called Betrayal a lot of times, especially with fucking Ayase's arc. It pissed me the fuck off. With with some of the most important details in that arc that they fucking skipped. And I was just like, alright, so let me get this straight. Like, you covered like 5 novels in 16 episodes in season 1, and you had to cover 7 in the same amount of time in season 2, but you still wasted time on 4 episodes of filler.
Oh wow, that's bad.
It was atrocious.
Like I loved like the first 2 seasons until the OVS into season 2. I'm like, yep, and now I don't like the series. That was a not good ending.
The pacing was already off, and it was making me mad, but it finally all came through when they skipped over so much details in Ayase's arc. Either because they felt like it wasn't necessary, or because like they didn't have time to do it, but it was extremely necessary to actually understanding who Ayase was as a person.
Yeah, I think it felt a lot faster. But back to Log Horizon again. We're going off on tangents a lot this podcast.
Yeah, we have, and probably expected a lot in the future. I I appreciate this being a discussion podcast, though. This was kind of
Yeah.
always something I sort of wanted to
If
do.
this was more than just the two of us, oh god.
But,
If it was just the old Anacast group, we'd already be done by now.
Lock Horizon writing-wise is...
It's the same, basically.
Yeah, it's the same. It's still up to par. Like, I think the only
You
reason
still
why
got the clever dialogue.
Yeah, probably like the reason why we haven't said a lot about it is because it's still just as smart. It's
Same.
still it's still Shiro being a badass. Like he's
Shiro.
he's thinking like,
That's
man,
amazing.
like we're running low on money. We can't fucking tell the public. Like the council has to have
Yeah,
power,
it's
you know. So it's like
We
wait
can't
a
let people go
second.
crazy.
So like let's do what we always do and take
Yeah, it's like,
advantage.
so,
take advantage of the game.
Yeah, it's like, so, where did the Respawn monster get their gold?
Where did the
Why
Respawn
don't we
monsters get
not
gold?
farm them and steal the gold from the guy who gives them the gold?
Right?
This is why I love the show.
It's so
Amazing.
good.
You're screwing with game mechanics in a way that makes sense.
And
You're
like,
taking, like,
Horizon's
a game
always done
mechanic
that from the
of-
beginning, and that's why it's the best.
Like, they covered the how mobs respawn, and they deconstructed that and put it back together in a great way. Like, they took it out in detail of how it works, and then tied it into the story so well. And that's like, well, let's do that again. This time with the gold. It's like, it's such a good series.
You know what? There was one problem. There was one problem with this
What?
premiere, and that was no Krusty.
Yeah, I don't really care about Krusty that much in this part.
Krusty's my favorite character in Log Horizon. All right.
Krusty was a great character in the first season, but there was like no point where he could be needed in the show.
I know, and I totally agree. I want my Krusty.
Krusty and the princess were a great dynamic in like the middle when it was like all dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
They had like great interactions for the entirety of the series.
But yeah, kind of a shaky beginning and end because we didn't really.
Yeah.
We didn't really
No idea what was
understand.
going on.
We didn't know what we were looking at.
What is this? What
But-
are you doing?
But hopefully it all comes together.
Yeah. Hopefully it
Later.
doesn't screw up.
Yeah. So, Fate Stay Night.
Sure, I guess we can transfer over there. Alright, so, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. This is really not even episode 1, but episode 0.
And episode 1 is also
Alright.
going to be an hour long. Like this
Oh,
one.
it is?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It was 45 minutes, not an hour, so.
Yeah. I always
I love
say
how,
an
like,
hour.
on Hummingbird.
I always say an hour anyways. People always get the point.
I like how the page for Hummingbird says, the hour-long, like, the description was like, the hour-long prologue. Running time, 48 minutes. It's like, it's in your description, couldn't you get it right, guys? Like, did you look at it, like, the description on the page?
Well, I mean, like, not everyone has, like, a Crunchyroll fucking, account. So, I mean, they're probably watching ads for an hour. Yeah. They're probably watching
Ad block
ads
is the
that
way.
extends it to an hour. I mean,
Ad block is the way of life for me.
hey, I never knew what ad block was when I first found Crunchyroll so many years ago. All right, when I was still an ignorant little child.
I don't use ad block on Crunchyroll. I don't even think it works. It stops you. I'm pretty sure it won't play the show unless you have ad block undone on Crunchyroll.
Or maybe it does
like-
what Hulu does, and it's just like, oh man, our ad didn't play, so wait here for a minute and a half.
Yeah, that's why I hate Hulu.
And even
It's
when
like
you do
Crunchyroll.
even when you do get a Hulu account, they still fucking play the ads.
It's like you're getting paid I'm giving you $8 a month. Get rid of the ads. It's like that's stupid for Hulu, and why I will never get a Hulu subscription.
You don't fucking need Hulu because there's Netflix, all right? And Netflix has everything Hulu has anyways.
And no ads.
All
Right,
so
I don't have Netflix. Alright. Actually on to Unlimited Blade Works. So, having watched the first 4 episodes of Fate Stay Night a few days ago, it felt the same, but with better animation.
did it because the first 4 episodes were all about Shiro, but this was all about Rin.
I wouldn't hurt you, but you know what I mean when I say they're basically the same. Same content. After the summoning, it's like the same content. And then just it didn't feel that different. I mean, yes, it was about Shiro and the Dean version, but it wasn't really that different for me. Like, having watched it, like, 3 days apart, it's like, yes, I know this, and I can basically quote this part right now.
Well, I mean, we're still in common route material.
Yeah, I know, but
like, was in Dean's version, because I don't remember. I only watched like the first 8 episodes of Dean version, and then I just jumped right to like the recap, like the 2 lower long OVA recaps. I was like, this is fucking good enough for me. I'll just, because I can't stand 25, 26 episodes, whatever the fuck it
24
was, of this piece of shit.
What about it?
And I thought the fucking anime was shit even before I read the visual novel. All right, so it's like,
Wow.
damn, it was bad. Because a lot of people say, oh, like, it's good until you read the visual novel. I'm like, no, I fucking hated all of it. Okay, but it's like, personally, I think like Rin and Archer have like the best character dynamic of anyone. I don't like Shiro and, or it's not that I don't like Shiro and Saber's relationship that much, but it's just, it feels so standard to me. I'm very neutral on it, and I think this
I didn't get far enough in to see Saber and Shiro's relationship develop at all.
I personally think this is going to be like the best episode of Fate Stay Night, and I won't like the rest as much as this premiere, because there won't be as much Rin, there won't be as much Archer, and it's not that there won't be as much of them, but it won't be.
They won't be them together. Yeah, their dynamic was great. Like the part when she's like making him clean up the mess when he crashed through the building, and he's like, "And you can go to Hellmaster." It's like, that was hilarious.
You still gotta question how he fucking like actually like fixed that roof with just a broom.
Yeah, it's like, how did you like rebuild like 2 floors in a night? How did you do that?
Whatever. I mean, it was funny, and I think I remember reading like a gag manga somewhere or something where it was like he like had like a fucking like he got like a contractor to fucking like fix the fucking place overnight, and they gave like Rin a bill like the next morning.
Wow, that's funny. Like, I saw one post on the Hummingbird thread of, like, him landing face first, like, getting up and, like, getting the cool pose, like, he just landed like he sat there. Like, he landed, like, face first, and then stumbled around and got into the, cool seated pose.
That's funny. Because that actually kind of reminds me of a review I saw for the Face Night movie a long time ago, where this guy, he basically parodied the opening scene, and when Archer crashes through, right?
Yeah.
He kind of voices over the fucking the whole beginning scene, and
does he add like a scream sound effect that gets louder?
No, it's like as Rin's running upstairs, he's like, oh shit, she's coming, and then like Archer smiles and he's like, nailed it. Shout out to whoever that guy was. I don't remember his name, but his review of that fucking movie was great. Don't watch it, by the way. It has spoilers, Will.
I won't until after the show ends, and I can compare them.
Yeah.
But I like the dynamic between Rin and Archer, and liked how it spent like the episode like them hanging out in the city, because it's just like one or 2 like scenes in Stay Nights in the anime, well, in the Dean version. I liked how it like didn't show Shiro's face. It refused to show Shiro.
Like, I thought that was weird, because it's not like we don't know what Shiro looks like. It's not like we don't know who he is.
Yeah. He was shown very clearly at the end of 0. But I liked how it was like not showing him, like, he's not important right now. Wait. Like, you know what I mean?
And I don't recall this being in the visual novel.
No, apparently it was.
No. I don't recall this being in the visual novel. Rin's prologue was there. The line where she finds Shiro dead, and she
like,
says,
"Why is it you?"
Why is it you? I don't know how I'll be able to look at her tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't ever recall that line being in the visual novel, and it may be just
it wasn't in Dean.
A memory lapse, but it's.
Well, in the Dean version, she said, "Why did it have to be you?" But she didn't mention being able to look at her the next day.
Yeah, like she didn't make any reference to Sakura whatsoever, and so it's. And so if that's like an original addition, made by Nasu himself, because he is writing this own adaptation. And
Yeah.
if he's trying to make slight improvements and slight references to Zero, all the more power to him, because I loved it. I loved it when I heard that line, and I was like, wow, that's like,
It was like kind of sad after you watched the ending of Zero.
Yeah, it was sad. I was about to say powerful, but I didn't really think it was so much that. It was just sad.
Yeah. It was like a sad reference. It's like, oh yeah,
like reference.
They had
Rin.
Like, can we just like spoil that part? Because technically, we talked about Zero, which has events directly related to Stay Night at this point of what's covered. Like, about Sakura and Rin, being sisters.
Mm-hmm.
It's like directly. That's why Berserker exists in Zero. It's like, if you hadn't seen Zero, you wouldn't get that dynamic and why it was important. Which was a good reference. I liked it. But I actually loved how it refused to show us what Shiro looked like his face.
Also, I think Sakura dropped her your fucking books. Not like on purpose, but I think the only reason why she dropped them was not because she was clumsy, but because she overheard Rin talking to Archer.
But now that I know Archer is someone important to the show, I'm like, all right, I gotta find out who he is. I gotta see if I can figure out who he is. I'm not gonna look it up.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and attempt to figure it out, because this is so much fun. Having read both the visual novel and seen the Limited Lyrics movie, I know fully aware of what everything that's going on, and this is a lot of fun to watch it all play out again. And I was watching this with one of my friends. His name's Miles, but on Hummingbird it's Nico something, I can't remember. It's Nico and a bunch of numbers. Fuck him with all those numbers.
Yeah, screw numbers. Looks at my own name.
We were making inside jokes to each other the entire time, and it was hilarious as we were watching it.
Drake, yeah, screw numbers. Looks at my own username.
Yeah, fucking. See, but even your letters are in a fucked up order too. I don't even know how to pronounce that, right? So
you don't pronounce it. You read them out individually.
That's why it's a problem.
I mean, I have explained to you why my name is what it is. I won't do it here, but I've explained to you why my name is what it is.
I don't remember.
I'll explain later.
I have a selective memory. I'm sorry.
But I like the archer class is full of archers joke.
Yeah, are you mocking me?
Are you mocking me? That's really in Zero, Archer didn't use any bows. It's up to this point, we have never seen an archer use bows.
He's not using any bows either. He will eventually. He has a bow as a weapon.
It's the archer class is full of archers.
But
not really. They haven't used bows.
Yeah, but the bow is not his primary weapon, though. It's still swords.
Mm. It's I like how he's oh yeah, I'm an archer. I can tell the number of tiles in that bridge. It's how does that make you an archer? You should have good eyesight.
It's just a perk.
Yeah, he spec'd into it in the afterlife. You can do that, right?
Oh yeah. Did you kind of
buff your ultimate?
Did you kind of what?
I was making a League joke. You have every few levels you can upgrade your ultimate skill, which is your best. Their Noble Phantasm. He spec'd it. He gave it a few points. when he dinged.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say, did you kind of recognize or kind of realize how all the servants are only supposed to be familiars of their actual past lives? So
they're not the actual person?
They are not the actual person, and Stay Night actually I think kind of overcomplicates the way it explains it, because it gives you this whole fucking diagram and shit in the visual novel. It's just
a full diagram.
All the heroes, all the heroic spirits are in basically just one room, kind of. Just think of it they're in their own little realm. And the thing, and what gets summoned is a familiar of their
a copy of them.
Yes. So basically, Saber is an exception because of I don't
plot
remember the reason.
Plot lesions.
Because of I don't remember the reason why, but plot.
Yeah.
basically imagine it like this, because like Gilgamesh is in Zero and Stay Night, right?
Yeah.
But he's only in Stay Night because he received a physical body from Angra Mainyu in Zero. If that didn't
So
happen,
that's what happened.
yeah, it's one of many things. Because there's a reason why he got the physical body, but let's just.
I figured it was because the Grail was fake and everything screwed up in the end.
No,
He never died.
Gilgamesh and Angra Mainyu had this long talk. So there was some stuff going back and forth between them. But really, I can summarize it in like one word. Like he just kind of annoyed him. It's really that's all that happens. Like Angra Mainyu's just like, I don't want your fucking spiritual energy. You're too annoying. Fucking leave. Like he's like kicked
That's
him
amazing.
out. Yeah, because okay. Do you know why it's a 10-year difference instead of a 60-year difference? Like Zero kept saying.
No.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's because it was a fake Grail.
No, it's because Angra Mainyu used the 6 heroic spirits that he has. He used their energy to speed up the summoning of the next Grail.
Ah.
He wants 7 for a specific reason, and he could have
opened the route.
And he could have.
Tokyo was going for.
No, to open the route is what Tokyomi was going for. But as Kirei stated, he is a stereotypical mage. That is something many mages want. That is not what Angra Mainyu wants. Angra Mainyu wants his goal is different, and he could have and he could have achieved that goal with all 7 spirits, but he couldn't get it out of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh was too strong, too prideful, too arrogant. He couldn't overcome him, just because Gilgamesh was that annoying. It's kind of funny, but.
So he used had with the powers he had.
Angra Mainyu could not mentally beat Gilgamesh, so he spit him out and only had 6 spirits, not 7, and so he just fast forwarded the Grail War to repeat the cycle once again. So this time he can get all 7 without having to worry about Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is now off doing whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah. I have to say that the fight at the end of the episode between Archer and Lancer was beautiful. That was so great. It's like just when Archer's standing there, he just disappears.
Oh man!
Like when the fight starts and Lancer's like got the lance at him, he's like, and then Archer just disappears.
Oh yeah, it was.
And he starts like beating the crap out of Lancer. It was awesome.
It was so breathtaking.
Like Ufotable, you are amazing. It was beautiful art.
And I'm gonna throw this out there, like right now. This is Drake speaking of his own personal taste in animated women. Rin has the finest pair of legs I have ever fucking seen on an anime girl. Like she's not waifu. She's not even close. But like I will call her Face Day Night best girl. But like but she got a sexy pair of legs.
Drake. I think we've just about covered all we can of Unlimited Blade Works.
Yeah, not much happens in Unlimited Blade Works. You just get some really good character interaction between Rin and Archer. But one question though. Did you think it was an exposition dump?
No.
Okay.
Because things actually happened.
Yeah, things actually happened. I said they would happen.
Archer was summoned. Archer fought Lancer. And then Shiro got killed. All very important things. It was not just, let's talk about nothing for an hour. It's like, no, they actually did things.
Yeah, sure. Did you notice how Shiro's actually still kind of breathing?
Wait, it was? Oh.
Yeah, like try to rewatch it again when like the camera's panning over his shoulder, like on Rin's face. Like his shoulder moves. Like he goes up and down. Like he's still breathing. Which I think is weird because like in any other adaptation I've seen, I'm pretty sure like he 100% died. But it could also be a reference to something else, which I won't give away yet. But
let me guess.
Now that I think about it, it would make sense.
Yeah. Does that have any relation to? Does it have any relation to Saber's summoning ingredient?
The scabbard.
Yeah, Avalon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I figured that. I figured that's why he was why people die if they are killed is such an infamous line that is directly related to Avalon. That was right.
Yes.
But yeah, we've covered.
Yeah, because Avalon keeps you immortal, and it also kept Shiro immortal. Kiritsugu gave Shiro the Avalon.
I figured as much happened after Irisfield died at the end. Well, became the Grail, and that was weird. But I guess we have covered all of them in the Blade Works. And now on to World Trigger.
World Trigger. I feel like we can probably make this really quick.
Yeah, not much happened.
Not much happened. Yuma got introduced. Yuma's fucking perfect. Like he is.
Yuma was so much fun to watch. He's such a troll. Troll characters are the best of anything. He's like, yeah. I mean, I guess we could save the bullies who just tried to kill you, but, or we couldn't. We could just leave them to die. I mean, we could.
Yeah, I feel like Yuma is gonna. He's gonna have a very love-hate relationship.
Oh yeah,
because the thing is World Trigger for several weeks was even in like bottom 5 polls of Shonen Jump. At the very beginning, it wasn't very good. As a matter of fact, it was extremely slow because all the focus was on how much Osamu sucks and how good Yuma is, and it got repetitive until finally we started expanding on more members within Border, and got
like the guy with glasses. He had like the best glasses I've ever seen. He had he didn't have like the bridge in the middle. There was like two separate pairs of glasses.
He had the fucking
like two separate monocles.
Human Revolution fucking
glasses. Those are awesome.
Yeah, but
I found that design incredibly cool.
When the story finally gets going, it's when we start focusing on more characters and their strengths and their weaknesses, and even Yuma's weaknesses. He's not the best guy ever, he didn't
even seem to have a weapon. It's just he's fast. Appears to be the only power.
He's fast and he's strong because he's an alien, and
yeah.
And really, this episode is just showcasing that
Yuma being awesome.
Yeah, it's just showcasing Yuma being awesome, and you're probably still gonna get it for a little while more. But I beg anyone who's giving this show a chance, try to stick with it. Or if the anime is too long for you, if you feel like you can go through the manga faster, go to the manga. This does get really good. It's definitely by far the best current shonen manga running right now. The current arc is
not Naruto.
Fuck Naruto.
Which is ending in 5 weeks. Praise God.
No, and the current arc that World Trigger is on right now it's so good. Mira, who's like one of the who's like the secondary villains, like the big bad of like this arc, she's one of my favorite villains of all time. Like she's so smart with her powers. It's pretty fantastic. And a lot of the characters do a lot of epic, crazy stuff that just makes you respect them. Like holy shit! Like they went to like that drastic of a level to get this done, but they know they had to because they're fucking awesome. They're fucking Border, like, and then they will do what it takes to beat the neighbors, and it's a really great cast of characters. I can't praise it anymore. I liked
when Yuma took out the bullies. He's just like. They're like throwing the paper at him as a quote unquote greeting. He comes up and like shoots like a bullet. It's like what was that for? Just returning the greeting. It's like, Yuma, you're my favorite character this season already. You are such a troll. You're my favorite character. And then I like to reveal it. I will always love the secret reveal at the end of episode 1. Like, oh yeah, you're looking for X? I'm that. Like, how Osamu was like, oh, yeah, I'm a border agent. I'm a bad one, but I'm a border agent.
Yeah.
I actually love that reveal. Like, Seven Deadly Sins did something too at the end of episode 1. Are you watching Seven Deadly Sins?
No. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Is Hiroyuki Sawano doing Seven Deadly Sins' soundtrack?
I don't know. I'll look that up. But, like, at the end of Seven Deadly Sins, there are the Seven Deadly Sins were these like great knights who turned on the kingdom, and they're evil. They've been hunted for like the last 10 years. The main character's like the leader of them. It's like he's helping out a princess, and she's like, "I'm looking for the 7 knights to save the kingdom, because it's now corrupt and stuff. And like he takes out the villain of the episode. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the leader. Let's go find my friends." It's like, I love that reveal so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Samu being a border member when I first read that for the first time it took me by surprise too. Like I thought he would have to like work his way into it or something because he was like so weak.
I figured he'd be there by the end of the show, but not the very beginning.
No, it's about him keeping up with the other border members more than like him trying to like practice to get in.
Also, the ending for Seven Deadly Sins is going to be the best thing ever. It's Flow X Grand Rodeo. Do you know how much I love Grand Rodeo? From when they did the opening to Needless, and it was just,
Don't get me started on Needless.
Needless was awful. I watched like the first 2 episodes and hated it. Okay. My friend showed me the first 2. And
I watched the whole show, and I regret every. I regret
watching it too. Let me look at. I have my phone out. I have. I can read you.
But yes,
Modern Strange Cowboy.
But yes, Modern
Strange Cowboy is amazing. No, like the best part of that song is, "Are you ready to the action?" There's a literal line in that song.
You want to know what's the second best thing about Needless next to fucking that opening?
The priest.
No, I was thinking it was not the priest. I enjoyed how the scientist guy fucking looked like Dr. Wily.
Yeah, from what I remember, it's like 9 months ago when I watched the first 2 episodes, but he did look like Dr. Wily. And yeah, Hiroshi Sawano is doing the music for Seven Deadly Sins.
Okay, I'm watching Seven Deadly Sins then. Alright.
We should add into this, into our selection. If we're going to take anything out of it, we should definitely add that in.
I mean, I don't know if we'll change anything out. I think 5 is enough.
If we find that like in a few months, like in a month, like World Trigger's not, the adaptation is bad, we can take it out and put it in 10 Deadly Sins. Like if we find the show is bad,
perhaps. And okay, for the record though, World Trigger is definitely in competition with Lock Horizon Season 2 as probably the worst looking show this season. I already hated World Trigger's manga art. Like I never liked it. I only liked it for the story. And it looks better here as an anime, but like...
I like the art. I like Toby's art. It's simplistic and good. Like, they did Kyoso Giga like a year ago now.
Yeah, like
Kyoso Giga was beautiful.
The art's fine. I like how they adapted the art. My point being is though I don't like the animation. It's very stiff. It's very a lot of still frames. But at least Toei's not trying to be overly ambitious like Dean was with Lock Horizon Season 2, and therefore making a lot of the movement that should look really choppy because they don't have the money to keep up with it.
Well, it's like Toei can do some good animation, like Kyoso Giga, like I mentioned earlier, has some great animation. Majin Bone, which no one is watching, which is a travesty. It's still airing, actually. It's going to be, like, at least 3 core. But, like, Majin Bone's, like, I think it's another, like, card game tie-in thing. But it's just so much fun to watch. Like, I mean, I could harp on it for being a kid show, but the characters actually develop. The art is consistent. The CG for, like, the Bone cards is good. It's like, there's nothing you could really fault this for except for, like, some of it being a little more PG than other shows. The music's good, characters are good, animation's good. You can't really fault it for those things. And like no one's watching it, which is sad.
Well,
but, like,
I mean,
they all have the same.
There's some stuff I do mean to look into from last season, and this one's still.
They like all have like the same like muted color palette and simple art design, which looks great. But I think we've just about covered World Trigger, unless you have anything else to say on it.
No. This premiere is pretty much just the way the manga was. It was slow and really just didn't tell you much.
I'll let you hand it off to Akatsuki. No, Yona.
Slow. And I don't mean slow as in like World Trigger.
It's Fate
like,
Zero slow.
Yeah, like, this World Trigger at least, like, told you something. It just, at least gave you a point to work with and expect, for it to, like, to have something develop, like, next episode. And Akatsuki and Yona does that too, but it, like, there's like, really no build-up to that point. Like, it just kind of happens,
Yeah.
and I expected it to happen because the trailer said it was going to happen, right? But it's not even the characters trying to do anything. It's literally watching our main character run around.
Yona just like, yeah, it's like
she's running around in circles for the entire episode.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like
it was good.
It was
unneeded.
It was very unnecessary. It was her being cute for like 20 minutes, and then like the last couple minutes was like, oh shit, like my boyfriend killed my dad.
Things are happening. My cousin / boyfriend is evil, which like I think let me look at my post on the thread. I said basically like, if you have seen anything in a fantasy setting where it's like it's a fantasy setting and distant royal family and an old friend comes to visit, the friend's going to betray you. That's it. I can honestly say I've never seen a show that denies that trope. You know?
Yeah, I know where you're going with that.
It's like an old friend comes back. He's gonna betray you.
The trope doesn't bother me. I mean, especially considering
it's predictable.
The trailer already said it was gonna happen, right? It's like the trailer said, this is the bad guy, these are the good guys, watch them fight. And I was expecting at least for them to run away or something, maybe at like the halfway point, and then her to accept, oh, this is my new life now. But like,
and then he betrayed her.
She didn't. Like he literally betrays her. Like in that very instant, dad dies, puts a sword to her neck, or like the spears to her neck by the guards, and just cut and cut, and I'm like, whoa, like, all right.
Then Hawk comes in and like murders all the guards.
Yeah, and then Hawk comes in being a badass as I expected him to, being in the trailer, right? And it's okay. Yeah, so we did get a fight scene, right? Very quick of Hawk just like murdering everybody because he's like,
that was an awesome fight scene, though.
You fucking stay away from my princess. I am like her royal knight. Blah blah blah. And then
like the one thing I didn't like about Hawk is like the typical high school teenager being awesome. It's like they literally said he's the same age as Yona, right?
I assume a little older, but yeah, probably like 16 or something.
It's like this is like that was Yona's 16th birthday when all the crap went down. It's like I refuse to believe, like just from Hawk's design, that he's 16.
Dude, I refuse to believe a lot of people.
No, Mal says his age is 18.
Based on like a lot of fucking anime.
Mal says his age is 18.
Like, a little more believable, I guess.
That's a little more believable. No, like if he was a little older, I'd probably believe more of his ridiculous sword skill, like spear skills.
It's a naginata, is what it is.
Naginata. There's so many spear-like weapons that I get them mixed up. Like there's the halberd, the trident, naginata, and a few others. There are like so many like spear-type weapons.
Can I appreciate one thing though? Like, considering this is a medieval series and like, and like the characters are fighting with medieval weaponry. Like, I just want to take a moment to appreciate that like our standard weapon for none of the main characters is just a fucking sword. Like
except for Yona.
It's a sword in Yona's promotional art, but I think she's gonna fight with the bow more than anything.
Yeah, we saw a lot of
a
bow
fights
a lot.
With the naginata, so it's just saying, no swords, unlike World Trigger or Fate. So yeah.
According to some art I've seen, she apparently gets some character development in the form of cutting her hair. She takes from the Naruto school of character development.
Who doesn't fucking cut their hair in shows like this? All right, it's like it's a trope that must be done.
I'm changing my life, so I must cut most of my hair off. I mentioned that I like the dynamic between Hawk and Yona. It was like they felt like siblings. It's like the way like he's just like telling a princess that she sucks.
I see the trailers kind of said that there might be like the romance is going to be between those two, but the ending credits did not like have him with her at all. Instead, it was like the blonde guy. the blonde guy
Wait,
with the bandana.
the cousin blonde guy or
No, the blonde guy with the bandana who like travels with them when they have their whole group. Like he
Yeah.
was the one making the cutie faces to her, like in the ending credits. And I would be actually more interested in a romance that was not with Hawk.
You guys, they feel like good siblings. How they just played off each other like the entire time.
Yeah.
And then I made a comment like the character designs are like equal opportunity offenders. Like it's a shoujo show.
I liked all these designs. I like shoujo art. I will entirely admit that. I don't like most shoujo stories because they're all just shitty romances about girls and guys just not knowing what the fuck to do with their lives. But I've always enjoyed shoujo art because it's always really, really pretty, and of course, as an anime fan, I like really, really pretty art.
Yeah, the art's pretty, but like the male character designs are usually like there's too much detail in a dude's like chest. It's like no.
Well,
like,
my problem tends to be with shoujo is whenever the men look too pretty, like in the face, and no one here really looks that.
No one looks that pretty. Ugh. It's like I put like the designs like evened out. Like the guys are kind of more.
I mean, yeah, they're a little more feminine than usual. But it's just not like I can't tell that that's a dude. And I can't tell. It's not like I can't tell that that's a dude that's not supposed to kick ass.
Yeah. It's like looking at some of the designs. It's like they're pretty boys. At the same time, Yona's also not like given the beat with the ugly stick, I believe is a phrase.
I love K as an action show, and that was full of pretty boys too. I mean, I can accept the art style for what it is as long as like
a lot of people complain that like shoujo shows
to back it up.
A lot of people complain like shoujo shows are like what harm is to most guys. It's like blank insert characters.
Well, we see that is the truth though, but I don't think Yona's gonna be.
It's like Yona's like beat with the Yona like is not that. It's like she's actually given like a unique design. It's like you don't look bland. Yay, equality.
Yeah, she's not bland. Like she has wants and desires, and she tries to work for them. And you know her character is going to develop. She has no choice but to develop. And considering in the situation that she's now in, and where you know the series is going to go just based off the trailers for this show.
Yeah.
It's just we don't really see any of what's in the trailers until like the very last couple of minutes because this is a 2-core show, unlike Tokyo Ghoul, which is kind of funny.
Tokyo Ghoul.
Considering
Tokyo Ghoul had so much potential to be good.
Tokyo Ghoul and this are kind of like the exact opposites. One was rushed, one's really slow. One was shonen, one is shoujo. Like one's like ugly because it's supposed to be like have horrific art and blah blah blah, and this one's like really really pretty. You know, one's like in modern times, this one's in the past. It's actually kind of humorous. To see Periot or okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how to pronounce their name. I don't know if it's Periot or Perot or like.
It's like Puro.
I've heard several different pronunciations for this fucking
studio.
For that studio, and I've never decided on one that was like canon for me. But whatever. Like this studio, right? I find it kind of funny that they're picking favorites with Akatsuki no Yona and giving it the time it deserves to be a slow show, unlike Tokyo Ghoul.
Instead of Tokyo Ghoul. It's like Tokyo Ghoul was such a good show. If it wasn't for the censoring and being rushed, it had potential to be good. Apparently, it like cut stuff out of the manga and moved it around.
Yeah, I heard it tried to cover like 60 mangas in 12 episodes, or 60 chapters.
70 chapters, I believe, is what it did. 70 chapters.
That's a lot. That's like 3 times faster than most anime adaptations. That's ridiculous.
It's not as bad as Brynhilde. Remember Brynhilde? It covered 90 chapters in 13 episodes.
I never watched it.
Oh. Lucky.
I just saw the second opening and I was like, or I just saw the like first and second opening. I hated the first.
I think it was like 105 chapters. Brynhilde was 105 chapters. So I looked this up. It did all of that in 13 episodes. And it cut out 20 chapters of an arc that was apparently very important.
Well, it's arms. What can you do?
It's arms.
It's arms. That's all you can say. It's arms.
Yeah, it's just. So who made this? Arms. Oh god, I'm not gonna watch this then.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're right.
Never mind.
With arms, you know what you're getting. They tried for another Elfen Lied and failed. Even though Elfen Lied was not that good in the first place.
I've never read Elfen Lied manga, but yeah, of course I've heard it. That's better.
I've heard the manga's great.
Yeah. What the fuck was the fucking like wizard barristers? How did that turn out?
No. Don't bring that up.
All right.
Wizard barristers is awful.
Just asking. It's arms.
It was arms?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God,
Wizard
that
barristers
explains a
was
lot.
arms.
Like, there was an entire episode where half of it was still frames.
Wow.
Not exaggerating, half the episode was still frames.
I know.
Like, entire fight scenes happened. Just, like, you heard the fighting noises. As you're just panning, like, I think it was, her name was Cecil's face. Just looking at her, and you hear, like, a fight going on in the background. It's like, are you kidding me? And, like, there was, like, a scene where, like, they were, like, up in the sky in that episode. And I'm pretty sure it was a picture. It looked like a picture of, like, the city. Not like they drew it. It was just a picture of it. That they threw in and animated over it. I am positive that's how that episode was. That's how bad it was. They could not be bothered to draw out a background of the city. 'Cause the city looked too realistic in the picture. Wizard Barristers was awful. But at this point, we've been going for over 2 hours, and
You know,
I think we've just about covered everything.
In a weird way, I kind of expected this to go as long as it was.
I wasn't expecting this long. Maybe like an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I expected over an hour, but I think this podcast started speaking for itself when we already kind of talked about like Fate Zero for an hour.
Yeah.
Especially when I don't think we even really had that much more to say than what I think most people have said. Even though like I wanted to get at what I wanted to say anyways.
Yeah. We talked a lot about Fate Zero, which is a good thing. So, well, since we're about to close out, should we go ahead and decide what our next show will be?
Are you talking about fucking Crossing?
No. No, I'm talking about we'll save that rant for later. We're already 2 hours in. I'm saying should we decide our show for next week?
Yeah, I'd prefer to end this podcast right now too. You can rant about that later.
No, I'm saying should we choose our show that we'll watch and review next week?
Yeah. No, I got you. I follow.
All right. What do you think we should do?
In a weird way, before we kind of decided on Fate Zero, I was thinking something more along the lines of sports, because I don't watch very many sports anime, and I had only recently liked a sports manga I just got done reading called Cross Manage. So if I can get
Is there an
sports
anime adaptation?
No, it does not have an anime adaptation. Actually, the manga got canceled. It did not do very well, but it was great nonetheless. Fuck you, Japan. And so I would
very angry about that.
I would love to give something maybe like Haikyuu a chance.
I've already seen Haikyuu, and it was good. It was good.
No, I've already seen Fate Zero. Ping Pong. I don't know.
Never seen Ping Pong.
So Ping Pong?
I'm talking about sports. What?
How about Ping Pong then?
Oh, actually, since this is the first time I'm gonna do a another show that's having a sequel this season. There's Yawapeta, I think. Yamushipero. It's about biking.
You want to watch season 1 of Yamushipero?
Yeah.
You haven't seen that?
No. I'm gonna watch it this week anyway, even if we don't decide on that one. But I'm good for Haikyuu too, if you want.
I don't know. Alright, Yamushipero. Why not?
Alright. Yamushipero it is.
Alright. And for the listeners next time, we'll probably have a more thought out schedule about what our next show will be. And also,
yeah.
In the future, if we end up getting enough of you guys listening, I thought maybe come next season, or like whenever we get enough of a community that maybe you guys would want to vote on a seasonal show for me and Will to review. Like I pick 2, Will picks 2, and then the viewers get to pick 1.
Pick 5. Pick number 5. That's a good idea.
It's just a thought for the future. Of course, our 5 shows for this season are already selected, but trying to include a community if we ever get one into this.
Yeah, it's a good idea. All right.
So see you guys next week for Yaoishi Pedal, or however you pronounce it.
I think it's Yaoishi Pedal. Shortened to Yawapeda, which
Yawapeda. All right.
I can make jokes about that.
Yawapeda. It's very easy to make jokes with that.
It's very easy to make that joke.
So, all right, guys. Later. It was fun. It was fun doing this podcast, and
I really enjoyed it. That was a fun 2 hours.
Yes. See you all guys next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.